Alright, I'm about to do my season predictions, and I'm just gonna go randomly, different teams. First team we have San Francisco 49ers. Hmm, I, I see maybe. I don't see a winning season here. I still think this is maybe next year. San Francisco really has enough talent to win a Super Bowl, and I just don't get why. It's just they really. I don't have confidence in Alex Smith. They have probably the best linebacker in the NFL, most underrated linebacker, in Patrick Willis. I think that's his name. The linebacker, he was from Mississippi. I think it's Patrick Willis, something like that. That inside linebacker is the next Ray Lewis. I swear to God, he's going to be a superstar. He is probably the best in the NFL, in my opinion. Like besides James Harrison and Ray Lewis, obviously, and Brian Urlacher, but um, the highest I see is a 7-9 season, especially in that weak division where you can do a lot of things in that division because how weak it is. I just don't see the 49ers cashing in. I mean, Nate Byam, a kid from Franklin, my rival school, plays there. He's out for a season. He was probably going to be the starting tight end, but he tore his ACL, so I don't have confidence in Alex Smith. They do have a good tight end, and I can't remember his name. He's a black guy, big black guy. Baron Davis, I think that's his name, something like that. But the team is good. They have a lot of talent, a lot of potential. I just don't see they're gonna do anything with it. Arizona Cardinals, they could hit an 8-8 season, kind of like with the 49ers. They have a lot of talent, but they're not going to hit their Super Bowl days. They're not as good as what they were 3 years ago. Their offense is not as explosive as it was. They lost Steve Slayton, or not Antoine Bolton to the Ravens, and Larry Fitzgerald has to do everything on his own. It's just kind of a mess down there. Chris Beanie-Wells is pretty talented though at running back, but NFL doesn't use the running backs anymore, which is bullshit. I hate the new NFL where they had to pass the ball. If I could see a team running the ball 50 times and not see one pass, I will love football forever. Because if running football is all about running football. Football is all about getting between tackles, not all about throwing it and then see who can jump higher. Come on, that's not football, at least for me. But back to what I was saying, Cardinals, I don't think they're gonna really do good either. Maybe 8-8 is best season. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know. I just don't feel it. Baltimore Ravens. As a Steelers fan, you really hate to talk about this team. But they're going to make the playoffs. Their defense is going to be active. They this I Their offense is just ugh. Yes, they have probably the biggest running backs in the NFL, like most physical. But teams like Steelers and like Falcons and other physical defenses, even the Lions, they're starting to catch on to that running game. And Joe Flacco just will not take this team to the Super Bowl. But this is just the regular season predictions. I can't really predict the playoffs because I don't know who's going to be in the playoffs. You never know. Never know. Cleveland Browns might make it. We never know. We don't know. I'm just making my predictions. Baltimore Ravens, maybe a 10-6 team, 11-5. I don't think they're going to win the division. I still think the Steelers, not because I'm a Steelers fan, because they went to the Super Bowl. They still have everybody back. I still think Steelers are going to control this division, but Baltimore Ravens will hit the wild card like they do every year. But I just don't think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. I have this 11-5 or 11-4 or something, or 12-4 maybe at the highest. I think this team's talented. As much as I hate to say it because I'm a Steelers fan, but I can't be biased. I can't just say, oh, just because it's the Ravens, they're, you know, Chicago Bears, very physical defense. I loved their defense last season. I think they're going to keep it up this season. I think they might win the division this year. I think this is the year that the Bears win the division and maybe go to the Super Bowl. I, I, I don't think they're going to hit the top seed in the NFC. I definitely see them at easily number two. I still think I still think between the Eagles and Falcons will have number one. Maybe the Bears I have number two. I definitely see a 13-3 season again, or maybe a 12-4, 11-5 here from the Bears. Brian Urlacher, um, Julius Peppers controlling that defense. They got a good secondary. They have a great front seven. And I question their quarterback. I still, they have a quarterback issue. But, in the 85 Bears, their quarterback really wasn't, a big name. But yet, the running back, they got a good running game. And, they're just an old-fashioned physical team. And that's why, like, old-fashioned physical teams will always win Super Bowls. Not the new maybe the Saints. The Saints are an exception to this rule. But I still think the Bears, they're going to do good. The Bears, who we thought they were, let them off the hook, right? So that's the Bears. They're going to do great this season. I feel it. Might go to the Super Bowl. I can't really predict that yet. Ugh, the Bengals. They're a mess. They've always been a mess. They're not going to do good. Just because I'm a Steelers fan, I actually hate the Bengals more than I hate the Ravens. I might be a little biased here, but Bengals just suck. Let me just tell you what. They have no quarterback. He's a rookie. Their offense is decent, but they lost Chad Johnson, so who do they have to throw now? Their defense always sucks. Maybe their secondary is good, but their front seven just no. Maybe a 5-11 season at best. Maybe a 6-10 at best. They're going to have a losing season. I just don't see anything good about this team. I really don't. Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns have shown potential. Um, as a Steelers fan, I don't hate the Browns because there's just no point. But I like, they have that white running back, and I can't remember his name at the moment. He's the covered Madden, so he might have the Madden curse. Which, if that happens, then they don't really have. They lost Son Rogers, their nose tackle. I'm pretty sure they did. I'd have to look at that again. And he played for Lions. He was one of the most talented D tackles in the last 5 years. Nose tackles. So it was interesting to see. Other than that, maybe a 6-10 season. I really, I want them to win the Super Bowl against the Lions. That's my dream, Lions and Browns. But it's not going to come this year. Maybe a 7-9 season at best. I think they're a little bit better than the Bengals, and I think they can play some pretty decent teams. I don't think they're going to beat like the Steelers, Ravens, or um, even the Patriots or anything like that anytime soon. Buffalo Bills, they got the first rounder from Bama, my boy, Marcel Darius. He's going to be doing a lot of great works in a pretty weak division, the AFC East. Um, well, I guess it's stronger now, but I just don't. I think it's overrated. Buffalo Bills going to have another losing season, only because they still don't have like a predominant quarterback yet. I think they got great talent on the offense, and their defense has shown potential. But they beefed up their defensive line. Um, I think they might hit. They're probably gonna hit 7-9 this year at best. They're gonna have a losing season. Bills are my second favorite team, so I always root for the Bills. But they struggle in close games in the fourth quarter, and that was a lot of problems last year. They can't finish games, and hopefully this year they finish games. San Diego Chargers. They got Philip Rivers. They got an explosive offense. Defense, it's iffy sometimes. They're not the best, but it's not the worst. They'll probably hit a winning season here. Maybe a 7-9 or 9-7 season at best. Maybe 8-8. They have a pretty weak division, so if they can just beat teams. The Raiders have shown a lot of potential. So, it's interesting to see what these Chargers can do. I mean, they don't have a lot of like superstar names like they once did like a couple years ago. So, can this young team can they do it? I think they can. I think they can go 9-7 here and maybe hit a wild card spot. Indianapolis Colts with Peyton Manning hurt. This could hurt the team. If Peyton Manning isn't as 100%, I see a maybe a 10-6 team. You know, the Colts are going to make the playoffs. They're going to win the AFC South. I mean, AFC South is just they don't. AFC South is just too young all around. The Colts are really the only experienced team in the AFC South. I think they can. I don't think they're going to really do anything deep here in the playoffs, but I think maybe a 12-4 at best. I really don't see the Colts having a problem here, but I don't think I think their defense really needs some work. They really need to beef up their defensive line. I think they're too tiny. Same with the Texans. I'll get to the Texans in a minute. Dallas Cowboys. Oh God, like the Bengals, they're a mess. They don't have really anybody. They think they do, but they really don't. Jerry Jones likes to spend his money on himself instead of getting star players. Um, eight, 8-8 season at best, maybe 500. I just don't see much here. Um, their offense struggles. Their defense struggles, especially in the pass defense. Um, I don't know. Maybe they might do something. My dad's a Cowboys fan. I'm not a Cowboys fan. I hate the Cowboys, but um, maybe they might do something. Tony Romo's overrated. He hasn't done anything the past like 2 years. I really don't see. I don't really don't see much here. I'm trying to make this quick 15-minute review here. Denver Broncos, kind of the same way as the Cowboys. They don't really have much. I mean, Tim Tebow's doing his best, but they had a 4-12 season, and they really didn't do much here. I think they're going to do better than 4-12, maybe a 7-9 at best. I don't think they're going to really do anything. They might win the division and maybe get the playoffs like the Seahawks did, because it's a relatively weak division. But AFC and NFC West are two weakest divisions in my opinion. And AFC West, I don't know. They haven't really done anything. But Denver Broncos, I think they might hit 7-9. They got a young team. It's like probably one of the youngest teams in football. Denver Broncos. They'll be good in about 2 years. But right now, ooh, excuse me. Right now, they're not going to do much. Philadelphia Eagles, one of the two teams I think could go undefeated. I mean, yeah, they had a crappy preseason, but they got so much talent here. The worst they're going to hit is 13-3. I'm definitely seeing a 14-2 season right here from these Eagles. Very good secondary, very good offense. Front seven's always been kind of there. There's no reason they don't win the division here. They should destroy the division easily. 13-3 at the worst, in my opinion. They don't have a reason not to go undefeated. But, I don't think going undefeated is possible. I don't that this league anything can happen. So Falcons same way. Falcons are the best team. I think they were actually going to go to the Super Bowl. I think 14-2 season, 15-1 maybe. Like I said, they got Julio Jones. They didn't really lose anybody. They gained people and they stepped up on their defense, even though their defense was already like one of the best in the NFL. So the Falcons should probably have the best record in the NFL, in my opinion. Even though they had a crappy preseason, but I don't know. Falcons should win the division easily. Maybe 13-3, but I definitely see like a 14-2 season. New York Giants, wild card team, maybe 8-8, 9-7. I think they need to work on their secondary because last year they had a horrible secondary. It was just embarrassing. Their front seven really wasn't doing much because of injuries, and their offense is good. I mean, Brandon Jacobs, most physical running back in the NFL. They have a power running game. Eli Manning, he's a good quarterback. He's just not as good as his brother, but I think 9-7 right here, maybe 10-6, something like that. I don't think they're going to do too bad here. Jacksonville Jaguars, probably a wild card team, maybe an 8-8. The Jaguars have always just been that team that's just kind of under the radar. They haven't really done much, but they shock teams. They hang in there in games. Maurice Jones-Drew, second to none, probably one of the best overall talents in the NFL. not just running back, but special teams, everything. He's pretty good.